Throughout history, Tibet was an independent, isolated country which few Westerners ever saw. Over the centuries, Tibet preserved a rich and ancient culture which is unlike any other. The monasteries were the center of cultural life. There, Tibet's artistic treasures thrived. But for more than 40 years, China has occupied Tibet. Old Tibet is no more. For centuries, Tibetans were a nomadic people scattered over a vast land. In time, the nation grew and was feared by many neighbors, including the empires of Persia, India, and China. In the centuries following, Tibet gave up its warlike ways and turned to a life based on spiritual values. Buddhism became the central force in its culture. Tibet developed a unique culture, impressing the special genius of a rugged mountain people on the wisdom and the arts of the ancient world. It was a land where the arts had inner meanings and were designed to cultivate the highest human values: selflessness, kindness, liberation. As Buddhism became the center of Tibetan life, the Dalai Lama became the country's secular and spiritual leader. The present Dalai Lama is the 14th in a line that stretches back to the 15th century. He was discovered when he was just 2 and brought to Lhasa in a grand procession to begin his training as a monk. He still follows the simple routines of a monk's life. In the 17th century, the 5th Dalai Lama began to build the magnificent Potala Palace in Lhasa, capital of Tibet. Outside Lhasa, giant monasteries like Kandin became religious and cultural centers where vast libraries housed much of Asia's collected knowledge.
When one's first exposure to Tibet, you had a sense of wonderment and excitement, which gave way to the understanding that you were living in a very well-ordered society. It was medieval, and it was deliberately so, in a way, deliberately undeveloped materially. Spiritually and in general intelligence, it was highly developed.
But the culture that nourished these arts is endangered. In the 1950s, Tibet's 1,000-year-old spiritual traditions were suddenly violently halted. Mao Zedong's armies marched into Lhasa and claimed Tibet as part of the People's Republic of China.
remain under the new circumstances 9 years. I did my best for, I think, reconciliation. But then you see the situation becoming worse and worse. And finally, around end of 58, now situation become out of control. 10th of March, 1959, at Lhasa itself, now things are, let's say, sort of explosion, isn't it? But still, next few days, I did my best to cool down that situation. Then it's impossible. Then I decided to leave. Now you see, look, all these past history, I feel a right decision took place. I feel like that.
This is London calling. Here is the news. The Indian Prime Minister, Mr. Nehru, has confirmed that the Dalai Lama of Tibet has reached India safely and has asked for political asylum.
You know, in 1959, the communists crashed down and bombed the palace of the Dalai Lama, bombarded Lhasa, and people murdered and all that kind of thing. I mean, there were monasteries with 5,000 monks, 6,000 monks, all wiped out, tortured, and everything else. I mean, these men are sufferers of terrific violence, and there's no animosity. I learned religion from that.
In a sense, the Dalai Lama took old Tibet with him to keep it safe. In the years following, the Chinese communists destroyed virtually every sign of Tibetan culture in that land. With that destruction, a precious part of our common human heritage vanished. Almost 3 decades after the Dalai Lama left his land, he sent back a delegation. They found Tibetans as devoted to him as ever.
This was on our way to Ganden Monastery, which has 7,000 monks in the past, which was completely destroyed. This was old monastery, Ganden Monastery, before 1959. It was the seat of Tsongkhapa. And then now you see, this is today, yeah? Today it was done like this. The way they destroyed was quite systematic. On the walls, they fix dynamite, and then they blow them up. And we could see some of the holes where they fix the dynamite. So what really happens in the past 35 years, Chinese obviously controlled physical Tibet and physical Tibetans, but they were never able to win the hearts and the minds of the Tibetan people.
Those Tibetan, I think around 6 million Tibetan people, they very much trust on me and hoping something. So that is, I consider something important, and my sort of moral responsibility is to help whatever I can do.